What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the top 5 fastest ways to make Lucent in Throne of Liberty. If you're not aware, then Lucent is the most important currency in the game, and it can be made account-wide, so you can use alts on a different server that may have higher auction house prices or a different player population, and then just feed your main character with all of this easy money. If you want to see actual examples and how to make anywhere from few thousand to 10,000 of Lucent each day, then let's get right into it. So first off, let's take a look at the most fun way to make Lucent, which is by doing PvP events. However, not all players enjoy this method, so I will quickly show you what you can get, and if you're not doing it, then how much you are missing out on. So you can earn Lucent by being in a guild and participating in castle sieges, Riftstone bosses, cross-server wars, and tax delivery events. Unfortunately, these events aren't daily occurrence. However, if you have few friends to play with, then you can make anywhere from 10 to 100 Lucent every day, without even really trying. If your sole focus of progression is by making Lucent for expensive items or trades, then you most definitely want to push your daily income to around 200 to 500 Lucent per day, by doing content that grants you items to sell on the auction house. While these items will drop in their price heavily later on, the precious rubrics, the precious merit, the precious emerald, and the precious talon can all be sold on the auction house as well. So I definitely recommend for you to sell all of these, as they will later become less valuable. So then even if you will need them, then you can buy it back 2 or 3 times cheaper. The same thing happened in the Korean server. On release everything was expensive, and over time it became much and much cheaper. So your main focus should be on selling every single thing that you don't need right now. Next up we have the trades. Trades are one of the most important parts of progression. Because of this, the demand for trades is always high. During the first few months of the game, trades may potentially be at the highest price possible. You can extract trades from all pieces of armor, weapons and accessories by using the Trade Extraction Stone. There are many ways to obtain items for trades. The main method would be by killing mobs in the open world dungeons or doing co-op dungeons and opening the dungeon chests. With enough currency to open 3 dungeon chests per day on each character, this is a quick and easy way to gain items that you desire for your progression, while also potentially gaining trades on items to sell for Lucent. The best trades to sell are evasion, hit, crit, heavy attack, skill damage boost, skill damage resistance, max health, attack speed, range, and buff duration. Each one of these items can be sold on the auction house, anywhere from between 10 to 100 Lucent each, while some other items with more high demand trades or even epic items can go for a lot more. To check how much a specific trade is worth, you can head to the auction house, or use a website like the quest log, and then just search for the trade and check the current selling price. So first off, the first step, you start by grinding the gear from abyssal dungeons or other activities. Then when you're ready, go to the trade extraction screen, pick the item and choose the trade you want to extract. After selecting the trade, search the auction house to see its current value. For example, the health regeneration might sell for 10 Lucent, while something more valuable like the melee evasion could go for 80 or even more. For green gear, extracting a trade costs 1 trade extraction stone. This means that you will want to sell any trade for at least 10 Lucent to break even. Blue gear takes 5 extraction stones, so aim to sell the trade for at least 50 Lucent. And then finally for purple, the same thing, so this time you want to sell the item for at least 100 Lucent. Then once extracted, you can list the trade on the auction house. Keep in mind that you only sell the total price, not the price per unit, which defaults to increments of 10 Lucent. For example, I sold my melee evasion on blue gear for 87 Lucent. Since it costs 5 trade extraction stones, this is a great return. If you're not sure which are the best trades for making Lucent, then I recommend for you to experiment by checking the auction house prices for items like the max health or skill damage resistance, which right now I'll sell for significantly more. Next, let's take a look at how you can get these extraction stones. So as I said previously, you will need these stones, and the best part is that you can grab them without spending any real money. You can snag these stones from the battle pass, visit the contract coin merchant, or even collect Ornate coins while you're at it. These coins can be found by collecting mysterious books, codex pages, or through Twitch drops. and the game often sends them as a free reward in your mail. The contract coin merchant offers trait extraction stones at a weekly limit of 420, for a low cost of 7 coins each. Additionally, the Mystic Keys can be used to open Mystic Globes, which also provide trait extraction stones. And don't forget that if you ever don't know what to do, then the fastest method of how I make anywhere from 5 to 10,000 Lucent each day is by simply making alts and doing the easy daily activities that take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours each day. Especially if you don't go to field bosses, then this is the best method of progressing your character to the max tier 1 gear. And by the way guys, if you're looking for field boss or dungeon boss guides, then check out my previous videos. Next we have lithographs. While traits are good consistent income, sometimes you may stumble across an item that is quite rare, so you can then turn these items into lithographs and then sell those instead, which may lead to a higher profit compared to just selling the specific trait. In order to turn items into lithographs, you must first craft the appropriate lithograph for armor, weapon or accessories, which will all depend on the specific item that you want to convert. The main bottleneck here is the enchanted ink, because of the limited amount you can purchase each week. Weapons will use up to 50 enchanted ink, but armor and accessories use up to only 25. So definitely if you have only one character, then armor and accessories are the way to go. But before you invest into crafting lithographs, make sure that the weapon or armor you plan to sell is worth it. In other words, determine the best lithograph for Lucent. For example, if a lithograph is selling for around 2000 Lucent and the materials cost close to that, it may not be worth the effort. However, weapons like the Shock Commander Plate Armor can sell for up to 28,000 Lucent, making this an excellent option. On top of all of this, festival food also sells very well, often more than the regular items, so you can keep an eye out for these special items during events like the Halloween, and make sure to take advantage of them to earn additional free Lucent. Then next we have the Rune Hammers. The Rune Hammer bundle can be sold on the auction house for a decent price. Unlike many other methods, there isn't really a weekly limit on how many these you can sell or make. The only bottleneck would be the amount of rune fragments you can get. Rune fragments are created by dissolving runes. The main method to obtain runes is by doing challenge mode dungeons. However, you can also obtain them from field bosses, dynamic events and open world dungeons. Since there's no limit on the challenging dungeons, so you should be spamming the tier 5 challenge modes, because then you can get enough runes to dissolve and make about 100 or so rune fragments per each run. And then finally we have the food. Similar like to selling Rune Hammer bundles, this is another method that isn't really limited by weekly materials. With the additional live skilling content, you can cook food and sell them on the auction house. While this method takes some time to invest, once you are able to craft high level food, this can become a very good source of Lucent, especially if you don't participate in any PvP events. As with any form of cooking, this does require materials to produce food. Most of these materials can be obtained by doing various content, such as again dungeons, fishing, Amitoi exploration, and jobs from the monsters in the open world. To get the most amount of Lucent, you will need to cook the highest tier recipes, which will require a higher level and the best ingredients. But even some of the lower tiered ones offer a good chunk of Lucent, and especially if no one is doing this, then there is an easy opening for you. The best food I found to sell the highest and the fastest would be the Caster Banquet, the Vietnam Banquet, the Golden Raya Banquet, and the Daybreak Shore Banquet. And last but not least, here are my few last tips. As you know right now, there are multiple methods to obtain Lucent, and if you are actively playing the game, then you don't actually have to participate in some particular events, because there are multiple ways to make money, and one method is not superior to the other. It just depends on how often and in what consistency you can keep repeating it. By using traits, lithographs and food crafting, you can diversify your approach to making Lucent in the game. Whether you're focusing on the auction house sales or crafting valuable lithographs, each method offers substantial earning potential if done correctly. So all in all, keep farming materials, keep grinding dungeons, and check the auction house to stay on top of the market and maximize your earnings. Also, if you want to earn a lot of Lucent, you must focus on doing activities that increase your income. For example, doing dungeons every day can be a consistent Lucent income, while also working on your own gear progression. This will take only about an hour or two, so if you're limited on time, then this should be your number one priority. And finally, and most importantly, by having alt characters, you can increase your Lucent income that you can generate daily by 2 or even 3 times. Of course, it will require for you to initially level your character again to 50, but after that, by spending 1 or 2 extra hours, you'll be able to easily get full blue gear and then just do daily activities, which will result in massive amounts of Lucent. And that's about it. So, if you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe and comment. If you're interested in more content, then check out my channel and I will see you in the next one. So take it easy. Peace.